I'm going to show you how to do some alterations and hem pants. This particular customer just dropped them off and they wanted their inseams to measure 27.5. So if you pull out the pant leg, right here you have your seam in the crotch. You're going to measure from this seam all the way to the end of the pant, like this. I'm laying it out. These pants are 29 inches. So I need to shorten them 1.5 inches. So if you have a clear ruler and some tailor's chalk, now my ruler is 2 inches wide, so I've got some markings so I can just lay 1.5 inches and just mark it all the way down. If it was more than that, then just, turn it up, measure how much you need. And you want to mark both sides. Next, you're going to need your seam ripper because we don't have enough to cut off. So if you had, if you were hemming quite a bit, like 4 inches, you could just cut off the excess, but we need to open this up because we need more at the bottom. So I'm going to go to the inside and use my seam ripper and open up the seam. You're just breaking the threads. And just be careful, especially if you have a new seam ripper. They can be very sharp and you can accidentally get going too much and actually rip the pants. And so you definitely don't want to do that. You just want to break the threads. Okay, so I've unstitched that. Now if you see in here, it's got a little bit of a fold in there, and that's what you want to do on these because you're going to top stitch them. Now if you have a serger, you could serge the edge and then just flip it up, but if you don't, we're just going to do that little fold. But we need to have a little bit more excess. So if you measure, the hem amount folded is about 1 1/8. You could go with 1 inch. So if I mark 1.5 inches down, that's going to give me 1/2 inch to fold in and then 1 inch to fold up. And I'm going to cut right on this folded line where the pants were originally hemmed because I've already marked 1.5 inches on this particular one. That's what we need. I'm using my fabric scissors and we're going to cut this excess off. So you always want to leave minimum 1 inch. So I would say anywhere from 1 inch to 2 inches, depending on what you're doing. This is 1.5 inches. And from here, you can either serge this and then you will fold it up on your chalk mark and then top stitch it. I'm going to just show you. I want to fold down about 1/2 inch. You can measure that. And then I'm going to fold on my chalk line. And then I'm going to put a little pin. Now you don't want to pin a lot. 4 pins will do it. So don't waste your time putting more than 4 pins. So you've got 4 sides, either side of the seam, front and back. And as you can see, I'm just folding this edge down and then I'm folding it on my chalk mark because that chalk mark is my new hem line. That's the bottom of the pant now. Now you want to take this over to the iron if you want and just give it a little press because you really just want to press and make sure that that little 1/2 inch stays tucked under there. But see how I have this pinned? And I pin it this way purposely because I'm going to be sewing it in the sewing machine like this, and then I can pull those pins out as I get to them. And then you will you will just top stitch right here on the, right close to this little folded edge on the inside, right here, and top stitch, and you're done. So that is how you just do a straight stitch top stitching with a folded edge on the inside. You don't need a serger or anything like that. Make sure you press them well. And if you are using this tailor shop, the one that I use, the markings do steam off. So just be careful with any marking pens that you're using that, you know, that does come off your material. You know, if you wanted to do a little test on the inside of the paint, you know, before you get started, just make sure that it does come off. But that is just a little quick tip on doing some alterations and how you can make money sewing and then expand into all kinds of other alterations. But this is the first one you probably want to learn because it's easy and everybody needs their pants sewn. So if you have any questions, be sure to let me know and I'll be happy to help. Have a good one.